Hey everybody, thanks for coming by. I am here to talk to you tonight about a subject that we are all interested in and that we have all heard a lot about over our various lives, and that subject is love. And I feel like it is an important thing to talk about because love has gotten an incredible amount of ridiculous garbage talked about it and its nature and what it is really for and what it does. And so I want to talk honestly about it. Because when we think of the question, what is love? We think of a lot of things. A warm feeling in the heart. We think about, kissing a baby, or sometimes it's just the very simple request, don't hurt me no more. But in reality, love is much, much more. And it's very, very different in character than what we think of. Because when we think of love in our modern sense, what we normally are thinking of is actually infatuation. It's this emotional feeling of fondness toward a person or a thing. Heck, it's a lot of people when they say love, they mean approve of or even don't dislike. Like, oh, I love that. Do you really love coffee? Do you really wish the good of coffee even against your own benefit, or is it just something you appreciate? So anyway, yeah, love is a lot different. Love is not this spongy, ethereal, spun sugar thing that we think of, or at least a lot of people think of, because I know I don't. Says that's infatuation, and it's nice. Don't get me wrong. The feelings that you get from being in love and that come along with exercising love can be very nice. There's a lot of warmth and just closeness and unity you can get by choosing to love. But see, there's the fundamental thing. Love is not a thing that happens. Love is not something you fall into. Okay? That's infatuation. That's feelings. Love is something you choose to do. Love is a series of considered, rational decisions that you make every day. Sometimes multiple times a day. I know my wife has to make the decision to love me every time I tell a bad joke. I can just watch her eyes spin a full circle in her head as the pun lands, and then she has to decide again, am I going to love this man, or am I going to go find somebody less funny looking? So far, these 14 years on, she continues to love me even though it's hard. I know she's listening to me record this, and she's back there like, oh, God. Anyway. But I tell jokes because the subject we're talking about is deadly serious. Love is strong. Once the decision to love has been made, and love is the set of the heart, it is what you have made up your mind and bent your soul toward doing, it is very nearly unbreakable. There are very few things from the outside that can shatter love, real love. Now, it can be broken from the inside much more easily, but even then sometimes it becomes impenetrable. What is the degree to which you're willing to go for the good of another person? Do you will their good, even to your own detriment? Because one thing love is not is something that we properly aim at ourselves. The idea that we should love ourselves before, and that's how we learn to love other people, is poppycock. It's ridiculous. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and it is one of the most pernicious lies peddled by the pernicious liars of this perniciously lie-filled age. Pernicious liars. It says, we love outside of ourselves, and hopefully through that, we find something lovable about ourselves. But I usually leave the loving of me to other people. God loves me. My family loves me. My kids love me. The cats are pretty fond of me, I guess. But I don't need to spend a lot of time worrying about, do I love myself? I'll do my best. I'll try to make myself the best man I can be, but I'm going to love people who are outside of me because I feel like they need it more. And they deserve it more. But love. So having made the decision to love and seeing how hard it can be to break that strand of love, what you have to understand is sometimes you will wish that strand was broken. You will wish that band had shattered. Because there are days, and sometimes weeks, sometimes years, where the band of true love, that iron hard, that steely clasp, feels like a shackle. And it can do that. It can be that way. Because love isn't something free. It isn't something that you just go, yes, I'm going to attach myself with love to this. No. Love is a sword. It is heavy. It is hard. It is sharp. It cuts through. It penetrates. It divides. It crushes. And it binds. It is heavy. It is a weight you bear. And when you exercise it, you feel it. It takes will and energy to love properly. But if you do it, if you love with proper strength and the proper fortitude, and you love well, it can do great things. You can never do surgery with a plastic knife. You cannot slash the bonds of self-hatred and just depression with tinsel. A warm feeling doesn't motivate a change. It doesn't motivate you to fight through the hard times and the temptations. But a sword will. Love breaks things that need to be broken. It cuts things that need to be cut. And that is why, of all the things God is, love is an amazingly important one. Because it cut through the bond of death. It went through torture. It went through humiliation and ridicule and rejection and every temptation. And it cut through them. It didn't plaster them around in a warm light and go, oh, everything will be okay because of love. No, it was as hard as splintered wood and iron spikes and a hammer and thorns. That is love. Love is a cross that we all bear, but we choose it. And I mean, yes, there's romantic love and there's all of that, and even then it is talked about a lot more seriously than today. I mean, it's as fierce as fire, it's jealous as a grave. Many waters do not quench love. It is a grand and beautiful and heavy and dangerous thing, and not to be approached lightly. But, like the hard chisel in the hand of a sculptor, like the hammer and nail in the hands of a cabinet maker, these hard, sharp, dangerous things can create beauty. And so does love. It awakens in us an appreciation for all that is good around us. The man in love sees the world differently. And the man who loves, instead of being in love, sees the world more differently still. I have been blessed to be loved, and I make the decision every day to do my best to love rightly. And there are some days I am exhausted by it, just wrung out with what it took me. But I am never, ever ashamed of it, and I am never regretful. So by all means, go out and love. Set your heart on the good of the other, despite the cost to yourself. Serve other people. Help them. Love them the way we have been loved by the eternal creator of the universe. And understand that when you feel that weight settle onto you, on the moment where it is not easy to do, that is the moment that love is truly active in your life. When you have really made the decision and not just been carried along by a feeling. Because when the feeling stops, when this infatuation or this rosy glasses idea, when that stops, when that wears away, that is when loving starts. Once it becomes will, once it is something you have put your blood and bone behind, now you're loving. And now you will grow. And now you will understand the world much better. And you will understand God better. And that's a wonderful thing. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with a nice song about being in love. There's nothing wrong with a poem or a feeling. That's all great. The rose-colored glasses, they make things look nice. I understand. I don't mind spun sugar. I don't mind a warmth in the heart. They're great blessings. They're joys. But they're not love. And don't mistake them for it. Find the right and true nature of love, and you will find something epic and powerful, and something that will sustain you, and something much stronger than what many of you have been told. So before I ramble more, I'll end here with this. God loves you beyond any ability of mine to describe. And if you accept that love, you will find the ability, your own ability, to exercise that love will grow. And if we can all learn to love the way God does, with honesty, with conviction, and with purpose, and with will, we can actually make a difference in this fallen world. And maybe, just maybe, put a bit more rose color in it. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.